Good morning and welcome back to Granted Gardens. My name is Melissa and today I'm going to take us around the gardens, see if there's anything that's ready to be harvested and kind of show you what some of the new growth looks like over the last couple weeks. So welcome to Garden Tour Week 2. I always start off with my whole setup here. Most of the time I forget all of this, but I've got some stuff I want to address in the garden. I have my basket this time. I'm not forgetting my basket. And then I like to bring this if we've got any blueberries because they tend to get lost in the nooks and crannies of this basket. And then these zooks, they actually got picked last night and I forgot them out here. So we're just gonna go ahead and add them to the basket now. I actually went through last night and kind of organized our plants on the deck here and tried to make more space, but they're coming along so well. Those zucchinis that I picked, I got from our zucchini plants up here. We've got quite a few zucchini plants and they are producing. Look at this guy. He's got all kinds of zucchinis on him. He's big. Alright, so we're gonna start off with the things that I know I have to do. And one of the things that I have to do is I need to plant more of these red noodle beans. That has to be done. So one thing that I had mentioned in my week 1 garden tour was that I had beans that I was planting that I was really excited about. The most excitement I had out of all of the beans that we were growing this year were the red noodle beans, which you can see on either side of me here. The idea behind the red noodle beans is that they get really, really long, and I thought that they would look really neat on this trellis here. I was super excited, and well, we started them from seed, and we moved them from the grow station in the house to the greenhouse, and everything was looking just fine. We planted them here, and then they just haven't done anything. Like, they've literally stayed like this and have hardly grown. I've got one behind me that's working really hard, but other than that, they haven't done much. So you can see here, they've all stayed pretty small except for this one right here. And this one's starting to like yellow and I don't know, maybe getting attacked by bugs. The rest of them, they just haven't done much. Excuse this, I think that's a blackberry bush. So I'm not gonna tear them out because they're still alive and they're trying. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna plant just more beans here at the bottom and see if we can kind of get a second round coming up. So these are them, the red noodle beans. I got them from GrantedGardener. They seem, it's not necessarily something wrong with the situation here. I think that there was just, maybe they didn't get too comfortable when we moved them outside. I don't know. But we're just gonna go ahead and plop some more seeds in here at the bottom. So I'm really just poking a hole and dropping them in and then covering them up kind of in the areas that seem to be bare. Okay, so for those of you that may not know, I am a moderator for Roots and Refuge, Jess and Maya. I've been doing that now for probably about a year, I think. So lo and behold, I signed up to be a moderator. Didn't realize I was signing into a family. And the team there is just some of the most spectacular people ever. Some of the most caring and like compassionate people. Our moderator team is spectacular, and needless to say, we became family. So we had a very special member on the moderator team, Mark Avery from House on Avery Road. He has a YouTube channel here if you'd like to check it out. So over the winter holidays, we actually got some really terrible news, and Mark had passed away. So what I'm getting to here is that a viewer, a follower of Friends and Roots and Refuge, wanted to do something special for us to help recognize Mark's life and keep his memory alive. And they painted these gorgeous stones and sent them to us. So this was mine, and it's a sunflower, which Mark loved sunflowers. So I've decided that this beautiful stone is going in my garden, the garden that I walk through every single day. And not only in my garden, but it's gonna go next to the single sunflower that I am the most excited about growing this year. So this sunflower right here is a Russian mammoth. I do not remember where I got it from. I believe from Baker Creek. So you can see it's already up to almost my shoulders. So it's pretty big so far. We've got some heads just now starting to form. We've got quite a few in here. So the idea here is that these can get like really tall. And when I say really tall, I mean like, I don't know, 10-20 feet. So I'm really excited about these the most because I have never grown sunflowers that get quite that big. This is where my stone is going to go. Would you just look at these petunias? I love these. These are gorgeous. So this is my first year also growing petunias. I got some and I just decided I would try growing them in some of these pots here that hang in the garden, and they just do so well. I did bachelor buttons also, which were left over from last year. They not quite as pot friendly, like they get a little wonky. So there's some of the bachelor buttons kind of all over the place. And then this one over here, I actually did petunias, a mix of petunias and bachelor buttons. I like that. That looks pretty. I'm super excited about the onions this year too. These were kind of a last minute ad. I had purchased a bunch of them and Tyler had some space open up in this bed here. So we kind of tossed them in. I don't see much forming yet though. I didn't make it in time for the full flower to be open. So this is a squash flower. This is actually, so this is a squash flower. If you get out early enough in the morning, they'll be wide open. They're so beautiful. So funny story, our logo is actually a squash blossom. Like 2 years ago when we first started YouTube, I got this really great shot of a squash blossom and it like quickly became my favorite flower. They heard me talking about these flowers and showing them off. So here are our loofahs that we decided to plant along the fence line this year. And they are just starting to really take off and sprout and reach for the sky. And I just love them. The viney look and the gorgeous big leaves are so pretty. I think that was a solid change that we made this year, was adding these loofahs to the fence. Last year, this whole fence line was lined with yarrow. We had actually found yarrow growing in like the grass in the yard. So we dug it up and we were like, oh, we'll just, you know, put it along the fence line of the garden. That'll be pretty, right? No, this was before I realized how much yarrow spreads. So we had planted like maybe 6 plants along the fence line here of the garden, along this fence line. And like by the next year, the whole fence line was completely packed full of yarrow. And if you're familiar with yarrow, it's bushy, it gets really tall and like bushes out a bit, okay? So we couldn't walk through this walkway last year and it drove me nuts. I was going crazy. So this year I made an executive decision. We dug out all of the yarrow along the fence line here and did like different plants this year. So you've got the loofah on this side, we've got some beans down at the end, and then back here we've got some squash. I'm happy about my peas this year though. Little Little baby pea. Little baby pea. They're just so beautiful too. I love their little tendrils. They get all curly and pretty. They show off quite a bit. And they're like literally my favorite. They're so delicious. So these are sugar snap peas. Don't remember where I got these from. I did actually purchase them from a seed company this year, because last year I purchased them from the dollar store and they just didn't do so hot at all. So I made the investment this year because, like I said, these are my favorite. They're delicious all by themselves, just fresh off the vine, which is usually how I end up eating them, unfortunately. But they are also stellar in things like stir fries or anything like that. They're very sweet. They're delicious. Tyler's beans are doing stellar. I think these are like dragon tongue beans, I think. They're so pretty. How about my scarlet runner beans? They've finally reached the top of the arch. Aren't these flowers beautiful? Last year I grew, I think, a couple scarlet runner beans just because I wanted to try them. I had never grown them before and I wasn't sure if I was like really gonna love them, so I didn't want to invest a whole section of the arch to them. They did grow, the plant grew, and I fell in love with the color of these flowers, and these flowers that just absolutely end up covering the entire plant. It's gorgeous. Now, that plant that we had that grew last year did not produce a single bean, not one. But I was determined to try again this year, give them a chance, because they were so beautiful. The flowers, the foliage is gorgeous. So I gave them an entire section of the arch. We got a lot of flowers here. Don't see any beans yet. Peppers seem to be coming along nicely. So we did have a couple cucumbers the other day that were ready to be picked, so I picked them. And then I was really disappointed that I picked them because I was like, I should have waited and picked them on video with you guys so you can actually see. They were our pickling cucumbers. I had 2 cucumbers that came off of them. We're gonna go take a look at the blueberries now. So my goal today is blueberry waffles for breakfast. So I have to do the work and pick the blueberries. Better make sure that blueberries actually make it into the house this time, unlike the peas. Well, we got enough for breakfast, that's for darn sure. I could have probably eaten my fill and still had enough for blueberry waffles. Alright, so this next section here just takes my breath away every single time. So this is the section that I refer to as the cottage garden. It really kind of started off as a hodgepodge, like we took what we could get for free and put it in here. And then it quickly just turned into this gorgeous, massive garden bed. And this always amazes me how quickly this fills in, and how just throughout the season we'll get random stuff that pops up that we forgot we even put in here. Here's another one of the sunflowers starting to think about opening up. These gorgeous orange lilies. And another little favorite section is my lavender. I would love to have more lavender around here, but we are quickly running out of space. My grumpy old gnome. And this is kind of behind the garden, which is really a whole nother garden in itself, with the potatoes here. And then we've got some beans out here. This is a black heart sweet potato vine. I always just like planting these in here because I think that they go well with the stand. Some more beans. These are Tyler's, I'm not sure exactly what they are. And then over here, we're gonna get ready to set up our rain chain, get that moving and shaking. Got some flowers blooming in our pots. The concept with the ladder was that the beans would grow up it. It's not working out the way that I had initially planned, so I don't know, we might be getting rid of the ladder idea. And then some ground cherries. Well, I think that's all for today. I am going to go inside and see to some blueberry waffles. So, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.